Is it a coincidence that I am sending you this message right now? No, it is not. It is one of the divine laws of the universe and heaven. Yes, the law of attraction. You feel extremely lucky that I sent you this message, don't you? Before moving on to the message, please like the video so that this message can reach other people, dear soul. You must also receive and accept the message with love. If you write "I received and accepted it with love" in the comments and seal it with 666, you will maintain the balance of giving and receiving. Don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe for our other messages, says Archangel Michael. Now we can slowly move on to your message. Why does your calmness feel like an earthquake to people who thrive on chaos? Why does your ability to walk away without looking back anger people so much? Let me tell you why. Your detachment is your superpower, and it shakes the foundations of their fragile little worlds. Stay with me, because eventually you will fully understand why your peace is their greatest problem. What angers people is their secret manipulation, their silent but deliberate attempt to draw you in. Back into their web, it begins subtly with passive-aggressive remarks like "must be nice to not care about anything." These comments aren't random. They're calculated jabs designed to make you second-guess the strength you've built by choosing peace over chaos. Their words drip with judgment, but their intent is desperation. They can't understand how you refuse to be baited into their drama, and it infuriates them when these remarks fail to shake you. They escalate. Gossip becomes their next weapon, carefully crafted to distort how others see you. They spread narratives that turn your composure into arrogance or label your distance as coldness. Their objective is not simply to undermine your character. Rather, it is to isolate you in order to create a version of you that aligns with their insecurities. They hope that by luring others into their story, they can force you back into a reactive state where you are vulnerable to their control. However, the reality is that these efforts speak louder about their fragility than they do about you. After that, they invite you to participate in fewer conversations, and they invite you to feel excluded. Shift when you're near, and suddenly you're on the outside looking in. But make no mistake, this isn't coincidence. They want you to feel out of place, to question the power of your detachment. They're testing your resolve, hoping the sting of isolation will force you to conform. Yet the very act of excluding you reveals their fear you've become untouchable. Your detachment isn't just a choice, it's a mirror reflecting their inability to control themselves. And that truth burns them more than your indifference ever could. The second sign. People are irritated by your detachment because they are persistent in their attempts to provoke you into reacting. When they are unable to manipulate you in a subtle manner, they resort to outright chaos. They create drama and stir up conflict out of nothing in the hopes of luring you into the fray. These are not random outbursts or misunderstandings. Rather, they are deliberate traps designed to shatter your calm and drag you back into a space where they feel they can control you. Their goal is not resolution. Rather, they are dominance, and their goal is to dominate you. Magnifies their frustration, they push boundaries inch by inch, testing how far they can go before you crack. Their provocations are carefully calculated, aimed at your principles, your values, and even your identity. They'll create scenarios that seem urgent or personal, attempting to force you into defending yourself or proving your worth. They want to see you flinch, to watch the stillness of your detachment crumble under their pressure. But what truly enrages them is your refusal to bite your ability to remain unshaken in the face of their chaos. Their desperation reveals itself in the escalation. When the small jabs don't work, they go bigger, louder, and more personal, all in a bid to force an emotional reaction. What they don't realize is that every failed attempt only strengthens your resolve. They are grasping at control, trying to break something they can't even touch: your inner peace. And when their drama doesn't move you, it becomes clear to everyone, including them, that their power was never real. That truth, it terrifies them more than anything else. Drop a comment. I thrive in my detachment. If your peace shakes their chaos. The third sign that your detachment is making people angry is the sudden flood of accusations and labels that are hurled in your direction. Cold heart, aloof, arrogant. These words aren't random. They're calculated attempts to discredit you, to paint your calm as cruelty and your boundaries as betrayal. They can't stand the fact that you've reclaimed your energy. So they twist your independence into something negative these labels serve as shields, excuses for their own inability to accept that you are a person who makes decisions that are contrary to their own. Your refusal to engage isn't a flaw, but a choice rooted in strength. They throw these accusations because they need to frame your detachment as a problem, something wrong with you, rather than acknowledging the discomfort it stirs within them. To admit that your calmness highlights their chaos would be too much for their pride to handle. By calling you arrogant, they attempt to drag you down to their level, hoping you'll feel compelled to prove them wrong by labeling you cold. They want to guilt you into rejoining their cycle of neediness and drama. They are not speaking the truth. They are projecting their own insecurities onto you in the hope that you will carry the weight for them. What they fail to realize is that these accusations only reveal their frustration. They can't reach you, can't shake you, and it drives them to desperation. When they call you aloof, what they truly mean is that they are envious of your ability to remain unbothered. Every label they throw at you is proof that your power is proof that your detachment is untouchable, and deep down they are trying to convince you that you are unwilling to be bothered by them. They know it. That's why they lash out with words, because they've already lost the fight to pull you back. In John of Arc's story is one of defiance and unwavering purpose. Guided by her convictions, she stood firm against societal expectations, leading armies and challenging authority in a way that unnerved her detractors. Her refusal to submit or be swayed by mockery ignited fear and resentment among those who couldn't understand or control her. She became a target because her independence exposed their insecurities. Like Joan, your detachment is your strength. It unnerves those who rely on conformity to assert power, making you both a symbol of resistance and a force they cannot ignore no matter how hard they try. Detachment is a force that unnerves people because it challenges everything they rely on in a world that is addicted to reactions and validation. Your ability to remain unbothered feels both threatening and magnetic. They love it because it deprives them of control, but they crave it because they know deep down that it is the kind of power they lack. Detachment is a force that unnerves people because it challenges everything they rely on. Mirror reflecting their insecurities and unspoken desires, it forces them to confront the truth they've buried. They want the freedom you possess, but are unwilling to let go of the chains that bind them. The first reason why people hate detachment is that it highlights their dependencies. Your emotional independence is a sharp contrast to the chaos they tether themselves to, and that contrast is impossible to ignore when you refuse to react. It exposes how much they rely on others for validation, attention, or control. They resent you because they are forced to confront their own lack of self-mastery, but beneath the resentment lies envy. They admire the strength it takes to detach in order to walk away and live unencumbered by the expectations of others. But their admiration is tinged with bitterness because your detachment reveals the weaknesses that they are trying to hide. This paradox of resentment and admiration fuels their frustration. They are unable to decide whether they want to tear you down or learn from you. They criticize your distance while secretly wishing they could emulate it with your ability to stay grounded without clinging to external approval. Is a threat to the fragile structures they've built their lives upon. Detachment isn't just a choice, it's a power, and that power, it terrifies those who haven't yet learned how to wield it for themselves. The second reason why people hate detachment is that it removes their power over you, leaving them exposed and frustrated. When you refuse to react, you disrupt the game they've mastered manipulating emotions to control outcomes. They rely on your guilt, anger, or fear to bend you to their will, and when you withhold those reactions, their strategies crumble. Detachment is a shield they cannot penetrate, a silent declaration that their tactics have no hold on you. It's not just unsettling to them, it's infuriating. They hate that you've made yourself untouchable. Manipulators thrive on emotional chaos, pulling strings to see who will dance to their tune. But when you detach, you deny them the satisfaction of pulling you into their web. They'll test you, provoke you, hoping to spark the reaction that gives them leverage, yet your stillness, your refusal to engage, robs them of that power. They lash out with accusations, plead with guilt, or escalate their efforts, but nothing lands without your participation. Their control is not nothing more than an illusion. This loss of power is deeply personal to them because it reveals a truth they've spent their lives avoiding. They were never in control of you to begin with. Detachment forces them to confront their own dependence on others' emotions to feel significant, and while they may hate you for taking that power away, they also recognize the strength in your ability to resist. They crave that same strength even as they desp you for wielding it. Your detachment doesn't just protect you, it exposes them, leaving them powerless in the shadow of your emotional independence. That above all is what they cannot stand. The third reason why people hate detachment is that it acts as a mirror reflecting their chaos, insecurities, and lack of control in stark clarity. Your calmness isn't just a neutral force, it's an unrelenting spotlight that reveals everything they've been avoiding about themselves. When you refuse to engage in their drama or validate their need for control, it forces them to confront the instability they've buried beneath layers of noise. Your detachment doesn't just highlight their chaos, it makes it impossible to ignore. This dynamic creates a volatile mix of resentment and envy. They despise the discomfort your detachment brings, but they secretly crave the peace it represents. They want what you have, but attaining it would mean facing the very truths they've spent their lives running from. So instead, they project their anger onto you, attempting to frame your calm as indifference or superiority. But the truth is, their frustration isn't with you, it's with themselves. Your detachment doesn't just protect your peace, it holds up a mirror to their inner chaos. And the reflection is something they can neither control nor escape. Friedrich Nietzsche once remarked, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Your detachment is that struggle in action, a quiet rebellion against the collective emotional chaos that consumes those around you. They hate it because it forces them to confront their own entanglement, their inability to rise above the need for approval, control, or validation. Your calmness reveals their dependency, their fear of standing alone, and that reflection, it unnerves them. They sense in you a strength they long for, but lack the courage to claim for themselves. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along, but if you felt it deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you. Here's to those who have been chosen, those who do not fit in, those who see beyond the veil, those who have been told to stay, those who have been told to settle, those who have been told to conform, but they have never been able to, those who aren't interested in what is ordinary, those who aren't here to follow someone else's rules, those who are the light in the darkness, the storm that shatters illusions, those who are unshakable, those who are unstoppable, and those who are untouchable while the rest of the world is busy running circles, those who are walking their own path all by themselves, if they must, not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it is who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine, the ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Chosen Archangel is the only place of its kind, the #1 Ascension Nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect, and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. Your detachment triggers deep emotional reactions in your calmness, feels like abandonment to those who measure their worth by the attention and reactions of others, those who depend on external validation. Your independence isn't just a choice, it's a refusal to participate in the unspoken game of emotional dependency. To those who measure their worth by the attention and reactions of others, your calmness forces them to face the unsettling truth that their sense of self is tied to something they cannot control. Your response, your detachment says, without words, I do not need you to define me, and that message drives home the point. Then they're willing to admit your calm demeanor exposes insecurities they've buried under noise and distraction. They project their fears onto you, calling you heartless, distant, or uncaring, because they don't know how to make sense of someone who doesn't react the way they expect. They want you to conform to validate their chaos by mirroring it back. When you don't, their frustration turns inward, though they'll disguise it as anger directed at you. This triggers a cascade of reactions. Anger bubbles to the surface. They feel powerless in the absence of your engagement, causes confusion because they are unable to comprehend how you have mastered the emotional clarity that eludes them. Projection takes over with accusations that are intended to make you feel guilty for their discomfort. Your detachment causes them to feel uneasy because it is a reminder of their lack of control, not only over you, but also over themselves. What they despise the most is also what they admire about you. Your ability to stand apart without being shaken, a silent force that refuses to be manipulated, and despite the fact that they are lash out, the truth is unavoidable. Freedom you've claimed, but fear the work it takes to achieve it. In Greek mythology, Hestia, the goddess of the hate, embodied peace and detachment, choosing a life free from the chaos of Mount Olympus, while other gods thrived on conflict drama and the pursuit of power. Hestia remained steadfast, tending to the hate that symbolized stability and balance. Her independence was both her strength and a source of frustration for those who couldn't understand. Her refusal to engage in their rivalries, her calmness highlighted their turbulence, and her choice to remain uninvolved left them bewildered. Hestia's story is a testament to the quiet power of detachment amidst the storms of others, as Sunu writes in The Art of War, appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. Your detachment is your greatest strategy, granting you the ability to remain unreadable and unshakable when people can't predict your moves there. Left scrambling, reacting to shadows instead of reality, your calm disrupts their need for control, and your refusal to engage on their terms keeps you steps ahead. Detachment isn't just peace, it's a tactical advantage that forces others to confront their own chaos while you remain untouchable and firmly in control. Detachment grants you an undeniable edge, allowing you to focus with precision and produce results that others can only aspire to. Emotional independence clears the clutter from your mind, freeing up the energy you'd otherwise waste on overthinking, people pleasing, or reacting to others' chaos. Detachment transforms how you connect with other people. You no longer attract people who are looking to exploit your energy or manipulate your emotions. Instead, you attract those who respect your boundaries, value your independence, and seek genuine connection. When you are not consumed by emotional noise, your creativity flourishes, your ideas sharpen, and your actions become deliberate. Also, when you are not consumed by emotional noise, you gain the clarity to prioritize what truly matters, which makes you unstoppable in your pursuit of growth and success in relationships. Doesn't mean you're closed off, it means you're no longer willing to sacrifice your peace for relationships rooted in dependence or control. The connections you foster are healthier, stronger, and more fulfilling because they're built on mutual respect, not manipulation. When life throws stress and pressure your way, detachment becomes your greatest armor. You thrive where others crumble because your emotional clarity allows you to approach challenges with composure and strategy. Detachment doesn't make you indifferent, it makes you resilient. You can assess situations without being overwhelmed, act decisively without hesitation, and adapt when circumstances demand it. Where others drown in the weight of stress, you rise above it untethered and focused. Detachment isn't just a tool, it's a superpower that amplifies your productivity, enriches your relationships, and fortifies your strength in the face of life's most intense moments. Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird embodied God is the power of calm detachment confronted with hatred, prejudice, and hostility. He remains composed, refusing to be swayed by the chaos around him. His focus on justice and truth allows him to act with clarity and purpose, even when others crumble under pressure. Atticus doesn't react impulsively to insults or intimidation. Instead, he channels his energy into what truly matters, doing what is right. This detachment doesn't signify by indifference, but demonstrates a profound inner strength that keeps him grounded. Amidst turmoil like Atticus, your detachment is not weakness, but a shield enabling you to navigate the storms of life with unwavering determination. It enables you to see clearly through the noise, rise above emotional manipulation, and maintain your focus on what is most important. Just as his composure unnerves those who oppose him, your calm presence highlights your strength and unnerves those who are dependent on control. Chaos detachment acts as a catalyst for growth, not only for you, but for everyone around you. Your refusal to engage in toxic behaviors is a mirror that they can't ignore, forcing them to confront the behavioral patterns they've been avoiding. They are left alone with their actions, and that silence speaks louder than any argument. It challenges them to question their patterns, and it makes them realize how much of their energy they have spent trying to control or manipulate others. While your detachment may initially trigger resentment, it plants the seeds of self-awareness, making them reflect in ways that they never anticipated. Breaking generational patterns requires the courage to detach from toxic cycles, and your detachment does exactly that by presenting them with the opportunity to be able to do so. Refusing to repeat the dysfunction you've seen you set a new standard for emotional health and boundaries, whether it's stepping away from destructive communication or refusing to take on burdens that aren't yours. Your actions create ripples. Those ripples challenge others to recognize the cycles they've been perpetuating. While some may resist clinging to old habits, others will take notice, inspired to do the work of breaking free themselves. Your detachment encourages self-awareness, even if it's met with initial hostility. Detachment is not just a shield. It is a catalyst for transformation, creating space for reflection, change, and the breaking of cycles that have gone unchallenged for a long time. People resent what they do not understand, and your calm independence feels threatening to those who rely on external validation or control. However, over time, your example becomes undeniable proof that growth is possible. You demonstrate that peace is not found in trying to control others, but rather in mastering oneself. Your boundaries become an invitation for others to examine their own. Far too long, as Honest Nin wrote, we do not see things as they are, we see them as we are. Your detachment holds up a mirror they can't look away from, forcing them to confront their true selves. When you refuse to engage with their drama or validate their need for control, it strips away the distractions they use to avoid interest inspection. They project their insecurities onto you, not because of who you are, but because of what you reveal about them. Your calm independence disrupts their illusions, compelling them to face the parts of themselves they'd rather keep hidden. Sherlock Holmes famously embodied the power of detachment, removing himself from emotional distractions to sharpen his unparalleled focus and reasoning in a world driven by chaos and impulsive reactions. His ability to observe, assess, and act with precision set him apart. Like Holmes, your detachment becomes a tool not just for survival, but for thriving. It allows you to step back from the noise, maintaining clarity and purpose while those around you get swept away by emotional currents. Your calm. In a world that is fueled by drama, presence not only gives you power, but it also challenges the chaotic energy of other people, making your focus an undeniable force. Detachment is not indifference, it is mastery. You can strike a balance between independence and empathy, staying connected to others while protecting your inner peace. This means acknowledging that you do not have to absorb the chaos of those around you in order to care. True detachment is about maintaining boundaries without closing yourself off. It is about remaining rooted in who you are while engaging with others on your own terms. Not theirs. In everyday life, detachment starts with recognizing and neutralizing emotional hooks. Manipulators often rely on guilt-tripping flattery or provocation to force you into reactive states. But when you identify these tactics for what they are, you strip them of their power. Respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. A simple pause, choosing stillness over instant engagement, can shift the dynamic entirely, leaving those who thrive on drama disarmed and confused, thriving in a world addicted to drama. Means prioritizing peace and purpose over distraction while others spiral in chaos. You maintain your focus, your calm, and your clarity. Detachment isn't about avoiding life, it's about engaging with it on a higher level. Like Holmes, you master the art of observation and action, thriving where others falter. Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Your detachment ensures that your consent and your power remains yours when faced with hostility. Respond with grace, refusing to engage. It is not a sign of weakness to remain calm emotionally. Rather, it is a sign of strength. When you remain calm, you demonstrate mastery over your energy, demonstrating that their attempts to provoke you are fruitless. Your stillness is a reminder that you cannot be moved by chaos. Knowing when to engage and when to walk away is the key to maintaining this power. Not every battle is worth your time or energy. Choose wisely, and when the noise gets too loud, step back. Walking away is not a sign of surrender. Rather, it is a declaration that you are able to protect yourself. Your peace is more important than their opinions, and their hatred is never about you. Rather, it is a reflection of their inner turmoil. Trust the process of detachment, and realize that there is resentment stemming from their own insecurities. They lash out because your strength highlights what they lack. By remaining grounded, you free yourself from their storm. Detachment is not just a defense, it is liberation. It is keeping your worth untouchable and your power firmly in your hands. Your detachment is not a flaw. Rather, it is your unyielding strength, a fortitude that radiates clarity and self-mastery in a world that is desperate for control. Your ability to remain centered exposes truths that others would rather avoid. You are not tethered to the chaos around you, and that makes you powerful beyond measure. When others project their insecurities onto you, let their frustration be a reminder that your independence is unsettling to those who rely on manipulation or validation for their sense of worth. Their reactions are not your weight to bear. Their turmoil is not your responsibility. Your presence is an anchor, a testament to the fact that you are confident in your ability to. The strength you've cultivated. Detachment doesn't mean you've stopped caring, it means you've chosen peace over performance, purpose over pleasing. When the noise of the world tries to shake you, stay rooted in your truth. Your ability to thrive in stillness is not just a rebellion, it's an evolution. It shows what is possible when you refuse to be moved by the chaos of others. Now it's your turn. Speak your truth, share your experiences of detachment and the strength that has brought you. Let your story inspire others to embrace the ability to exert their might and break out from the influence of the storm.